Anger and violence have spilled over onto the streets of Athens, with police using tear gas and water cannon against Greeks protesting draconian new budget cuts. Trump demonstrators hurled petrol bombs, with more than 100 detained as the country's parliament passed an austerity package aimed at securing the latest bailout. RT's Peter Oliver reports from Athens.
What we have seen, though, is anger on the streets of Athens. We saw a crowd of around 100,000 people gather in the square just behind me in front of the Parliament building. That quite quickly escalated into violent clashes between police and protesters. In a matter of seconds, downtown Athens went into essentially an urban war zone for a couple of hours. We saw Molotov cocktails thrown, flashbang grenades used, also tear gas used extensively again here in Athens as police tried to calm down protesters who are extremely unhappy by what they see as unfair measures being taken by the government. Now, also there was 100 people detained by police, 5 arrests made, and we're also hearing of injuries on both sides, both the police and demonstrators. The Greek people undoubtedly very unhappy about what's been signed into law. What's essentially happened is that politicians here in Greece have voted in order to allow the next round of austerity measures. 153 MPs voting in favour of these latest austerity measures, 128 against, and there were 18 abstentions. What these new austerity measures mean, though, for the Greek people is that we're going to see the retirement age rise to 67. There's also going to be slashes to pensions and wages, and there's also going to be new laws that's going to actually make it easier for employers to fire their staff. Now, all of this comes as Antonis Samaras, the Prime Minister, had to make 13.5 billion euro worth of savings. The reason he had to do that was it was demanded of him by Greece's 3 main lenders, the so-called Troika. Now, they had said that unless these cuts were made, that Greece wouldn't get its next round of bailout money. That's over 30 billion euros, and without that money, well, Greece was out of the euro essentially, and they would have faced a potentially devastating default. So that's what these new austerity measures mean. They've been signed into law. This is the future for the Greek people now.
The new austerity package is said to be the worst so far in 3 years of the Greek debt crisis. Journalist Charlie McGrath says the cuts will heap further suffering on ordinary people and that the situation won't change for the better until Greece acknowledges it's bankrupt.
We already have people killing themselves in front of Parliament in Greece. You have people that are losing everything, losing hope. The last thing to go, I think, is going to be, their sense that they have anybody representing them whatsoever. You have this tyranny of the technocrat majority inside Greece. 153 out of 300 vote more austerity onto the people. I think as they continue to lose all hope that they have any control of their own financial destiny whatsoever, how can it do anything but digress into potentially civil war? The financial health of the country is not going to change for the better until they realize that they are in default. They're bankrupt, and they tell the banks that are holding their debt and the European Union and the ECB and the Troika that they are going to default. This is what happens in free market capitalism. Their prospect for a return to a healthy economy, it has to start with them realizing that they are completely and utterly broke and start over from scratch.